Welcome back. In the last video, we learned what Google Cloud Dataflow is and when to use it. In this video, we will get hands-on. We'll set up a Google Cloud project, write our fast Apache Beam pipeline, and run it both locally and on Google Cloud Dataflow. Let's get started. Here is what we will do today. First, we will set up a Google Cloud project. Next, we will prepare our computer with everything we need. Then we'll write our fast Apache Beam pipeline. After that, we'll run it on our local computer. And finally, we'll run the same pipeline on Google Cloud Dataflow. And by the end of this video, you will have your fast Dataflow pipeline running on Google Cloud. Let's get started. Alright, I'm already inside my Google Cloud console. URL is consolecloudgoogle.com. If you don't have Google Cloud account, please check my other video, how to create your free account. So inside console, first thing you need to select your project. I already have an existing demo project, so I'm going to use it. You can also select the default project, or you can create a new project from here. Now to use any Google Cloud service, we need to enable appropriate APIs. So in this demo, we want to use Dataflow API and Cloud Storage API. So we must enable them first. Go to navigation menu, search for APIs and services, click library. So now here search for Dataflow API and click Dataflow API. I already enabled this API, but in your case, just click here enable button. Do same thing for cloud storage. Enable cloud storage API, and it's already enabled. Just enable it from here. Now for authentication, we need to create a service account. So go to navigation menu. I am an admin and select service accounts. Click create service account and give a name to the service account. So I'm using Dataflow demo essay as the name of the service account and give a description of the service account. Click create and continue. Here we need to give appropriate permission to the service account because we are going to use Google Cloud Storage. So we need to give appropriate permission to this service account so that it can access the storage bucket. Click select a role and search for storage. So I'm giving full permission to the buckets and object storage admin. Add another role, and in future we're going to load data directly into BigQuery, so we are just giving permission to BigQuery. So I'm giving the full permission to the service account BigQuery admin and click continue. We can skip this tab because we are not going to give the service account access to different user. We are directly using this service account to deploy. So click done. So our service account created. So here is the service account Dataflow demo essay. Click go inside and check permission if the permissions are correct. So yeah, so right now two permissions are there, BigQuery admin and storage admin. That's correct. Click cancel. So now we are going to generate a key so we can use that key to authenticate to GCP platform. So here click add key, create new key. JSON is fine, create. So file created and save the file to appropriate folder. And I'm renaming the file to the actual service account name. Click save. And here is the file we just created and saved into our local system. So next we need a Google Cloud Storage bucket. Let's go back from navigation menu, find the Google Cloud Storage and click buckets. To create a new bucket, click create. Give a name to the bucket and the bucket name must be unique globally. So let's see Dataflow demo bucket if that is available. So click continue. So in this tab we need to choose where we want to store our data. So if we want multi-region redundancy or dual region redundancy, So in my case, I want single region. So this is just for demo. So I'm selecting region, and my region is North America, Northeast to Toronto, and click continue. So I'm accepting the default class, the standard one. This is for best for short-term storage and frequently accessed data. And there are some other options, like if you want folder like structure, you can enable this one. And if you want rapid cache, you can enable this part, but I'm just going with the default one. Click continue and keep this one checked. Make sure the bucket is not public. And also I want uniform, means if I give bucket level access, so the service account can access everything. Or if you want like fine grained access, you can go with this, and then you can set up very granular level access. Click continue. So next here we have soft delete policy, means by default Google keeps 7 days after you delete, but you can customize this part, and I'm just keeping the default one, 7 days retention, and keep these default. And finally click create, and we can see Dataflow demo bucket created. Right now it is empty, nothing inside. So let's create a subfolder under the bucket. I'm giving the name Dataflow temp because Dataflow generates some temporary files during the execution. So we want to keep everything inside the Dataflow temp directory. Subdirectory created under the bucket is Dataflow temp. Now let's go and set up our local environment. We're going to install Apache Beam on our local computer. Here is the link, beam.apache.org, where you can get more information about Apache Beam. So I just want to show you a quick introduction of Apache Beam. So in the diagram, you can see the Apache Beam model supports different types of input and output connectors, like it supports different types of files and different types of databases, including BigQuery in Google Cloud. In our last video, we have seen it supports batch and streaming data processing. And also once you write your pipeline, you can run the pipeline into different platforms, including your local computer, Apache Spark, Apache Flink. In our case, we will run on Google Cloud Dataflow. And finally, it supports different languages. You can write your pipeline using Go, SQL, Java. In our case, we are going to use Python SDK to write the pipeline. So let's set up Apache Beam with Python SDK. So I'm creating a local folder in my computer to organize the files. So I'm naming it Dataflow demo, and right now it is empty. For code editing, I'm using VS Code editor. So it is free. You can download and install from here. VS Code download, you can go to the first link. Yeah, URL is code.visualstudio.com. Based on your operating system, you can download appropriate version from here. So once it is installed, you can open the VS Code and open newly created folder from here. So right now, demo Dataflow folder is empty. Select the folder. Yeah, the folder is selected and nothing inside it right now. Close the welcome page and open a terminal, new terminal. Check the installed Python version here. So I'm using Python version 3.12. So if you don't have Python installed, download it from here. Download Python from python.org downloads, and under downloads, based on your operating system, just download appropriate version. And also you can see the current version lifetime. So if anything end of life, don't download. So I think the Apache Beam support starts from 3.10 up to the here. So in my case, I am using 3.12. Next thing, we want to create a virtual environment. So I am giving the virtual environment name Dataflow environment. So all the installation files stays inside our project. It is not installed globally. Next, we need to activate our virtual environment. So the command is scripts activate. So we activated our virtual environment. Now anything we install stays inside this virtual environment. Next, here is the command to install Apache Beam with Google Cloud Platform support. So pip install Apache Beam Google Cloud Platform. Enter. It will take some time to install all the required packages. While it is installing all the required packages here from Beam Apache org, you can get available options here. So in our case, we are using Google Cloud Platform. So if you are using Amazon Web Service, you can use this or Azure, or there are some other platforms as well. Alright, Apache Beam installed successfully. If you see dependency warning here during install, it is usually means your virtual environment is not fresh. Always create a new separate environment for each project. This keeps package from conflicting with each other. Now let's see if it installed successfully. So let's clear and run the command what version it installed. So you can see 2.75 Apache Beam version installed in our system. Perfect. Our computer is ready. Now let's write our first pipeline. First, I create a simple input file, input.txt, and put some basic line this: hello world, this is Dataflow, Apache Beam is powerful and data engineering is fun, right? And save it. File created here. Now let's create our first pipeline here and name the pipeline as hello world pipeline.py. Enter. Here is our simple pipeline code. First we import Apache Beam. This is our main library. Also here we're importing pipeline options. This is also from the main library Apache Beam. And then function to run the pipeline. First we created a pipeline options. Right now it is empty. For now leave it empty. Now we open a pipeline here and each pipeline represent individual steps. And first steps we are reading the input file. In second step we are changing each line to uppercase, and in step 3 save the result to an output file, and using this symbol we connect each steps, and the steps follows from top to bottom, so that's why we call it data flow. And finally in the main section we're calling the run function to run it. So let's save the file. Next we'll run it. Now let's run our pipeline. By default, Beam runs on our own computer. This is called DirectRunner. No Google Cloud involved yet. So let's run it. So command is Python and then our script name. Let's run. So it finished. No error. So let's check the output. So here we can see a new file created output. Here it is. Every line from our input file now uppercase. Our pipeline worked. So this run only on my local computer. Next, let's run this same code on Dataflow. Now let's run the same pipeline on Dataflow. So first we need to upload this input file into cloud storage. So let's go to Cloud Console and go to Cloud Storage Buckets. Inside our newly created bucket, Dataflow demo bucket, let's upload the input file. Click Upload, Upload Files, select Input File, click Open. So upload started, just refresh. So yes, so our input file already uploaded. So earlier we created a subfolder called Dataflow temp. Actually we need two folders, one for temporary data files, another one for staging files. So let's delete this one and let's create folder called temp. Create another folder called staging. Create. Okay, these two folders created. So we need another folder for our output file. So let's create another folder called output. So the output file will be generated under this folder. Okay, so we already uploaded our input file and created these three folders here. Output for output file. All the project related staging file will go under staging folder, and temp folder will be used for temporary data. Now let's copy the bucket URL. So click the input txt file. So this is our bucket URL here. Let's copy it, and now we need to change our Python file to point the file into the Google Cloud bucket. So instead of this file, point to Google Cloud Dataflow demo bucket under that, so the input file. And also we need to update our output folder location. So let's go back to, and our output folder location is this. Let's copy the URL, and this is under output folder. So under this bucket output folder, inside folder, it will create output file. Save the file. Now let's run the pipeline to Dataflow. So first thing first, Python, our file name. Next here we're specifying runner is DataflowRunner. So we are passing parameter called runner to run the pipeline on Dataflow. Next parameter, we need to pass our project ID. The parameter is project and we are passing project ID. Where we can get project ID, go back to Google Cloud under the project. So right now I'm using demo project and this is my ID. So we just need to copy this ID from here, pass it here. So next parameter is region. So under North America, Northeast 2 is a Toronto region. So I'm passing that directly from Cloud Console, and you can find it from your bucket as well. So see, my location is North America, Northeast 2, Toronto. So let's pass this one here. Enter. So next parameter is temporary location, means where temporary data will be stored. We just created our temp folder inside our bucket, so I'm using this one. And finally we need to pass our staging location, where all the project files temporarily stored into the staging area. Okay, that's all. So we can run the command, but before running the command, let's go back to our Google Cloud. Let's open a new tab to check Dataflow. Let's search for Dataflow. So here is our Dataflow product. Select the product. Because we already enabled this Dataflow API, so we can directly access Dataflow service. So click jobs. Right now, no job running. We can refresh. So everything is empty. So let's run our pipeline from local. Click enter. Okay, our command failed. Reason of failure, your default credentials were not found. This is expected because we haven't passed our service account information yet. So we already downloaded our service account key here, Dataflow demo service account that we created earlier. So let's initialize the environment variable. So here is the command. So here is the command to initialize the environment variable. So the environment variable is Google application credentials, and we are passing our service account key. So let's click. So because every time we close and open this Visual Studio window, we have to run this command to initiate. So alternatively, what we can do, we can create a file. Is the PowerShell script we're creating. Just put the command inside and save it, and that's it. So every time you open this project, that's fine. What you need to do, clear and just run the activate.ps1 script. It will initialize the variable. So right now our service account key variable is initiated. So what we can do, we can run our Python Apache Beam command to run the pipeline on Dataflow. So let's run it again. Let's go back to Google Cloud Console and check. Yeah, as I said, for the first time, it may take a little bit of time. Okay, this time the command failed again, but it is not related to the authentication. So now it's authenticated, but it doesn't have appropriate permissions. So it is saying Apache Beam trying to create workflow, but the service account doesn't have right access to the this project. So let's go back and add some permission to fix this error. So go back to Google Cloud Console. Let's open a new tab and the navigation menu, IAM, and then service account. Find our service account, Dataflow demo service account, permissions, manage access. So right now we gave storage admin and the BigQuery, but the user also need Dataflow admin privilege to create a workflow inside Dataflow. So let's add another role here. So I'm giving like full access right now for this demo, Dataflow admin. So in addition to that, we need to assign service account user role. So the worker can use this account as a service account. Let's save. We added service account user and Dataflow admin. Let's go back and run our command again. Clear, run. So we can refresh. We can see a new job just now created. See, it's running. And if we go back, we can see the job still, the command still running. And inside the console, we can see a new Dataflow job also started running. Let's go inside the job and we can see the job started reading the input. And see, we haven't started any workers, means any virtual machine we haven't started, but it automatically started the virtual machine, and right now it is running. So we can check our virtual machine as well. If we click open another window, and we can go compute engine and virtual machine instance, and we can see we haven't created any virtual machine, but Dataflow automatically created this virtual machine to run the pipeline, and once the pipeline completed, it will release automatically, so you don't need to do anything here. So Google and Dataflow will manage everything for you. It read the input file, processed, and also it write the output successfully. So we can see the job succeeded, and here what is the in time and how long it takes, 3 minutes 50 seconds. And if we go inside, you can see the details of the job. It all automatically release the worker. Right now 0 worker here, so no virtual machine anymore. And if we go back here, so the virtual machine should be gone, so no virtual machine available right now. So let's go back and verify our data, the bucket. So inside the bucket, if we refresh the bucket, so there should be an output file. So see inside output folder, so output file created, and we can check the data. So click and we can see the output. Everything is uppercase right now. Same result as before. And if we want to know more about the job, the execution detail, you can see a lot of information available. Also job metrics, also what would be the cost to run this pipeline, and anything recommended by Google based on the last execution. So that's how we can run our fast real data flow pipeline. Also, let's verify our command so we can see the command completed successfully. Just a warning, because we have set retention policy to 7 days on our buckets, but Dataflow pipelines recommend to use disable the soft delete feature. So, but anyway, it is good. It is just a warning and everything is successful. That's how we can run a real pipeline on Google Cloud Platform Dataflow service. So let's do a quick recap. Today we set up Google Cloud project. Then we prepared our computer for Dataflow. Next we wrote our fast Apache Beam pipeline. We ran it on our local computer. Then we ran the same pipeline on Google Cloud Dataflow. Along the way, we even fixed a real permission error. So now you have seen the complete Dataflow workflow from start to finish. In the next video, we'll build a real-world pipeline. We'll read data from cloud storage and load into BigQuery. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.